Testing, 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 testing. Testing, testing. But don't want to give me feedback yet. But okay. Okay, so I'm planning to do a challenge. Okay. What am I going to talk about? I think a lot of people, are going to think it's impossible. And I'll let them. I'll let them think it's impossible. Because it's almost part of what fuels me to do this. Yo, what's up? So, I'm taking a bold step. I'm setting a challenge that I honestly think a lot of people are going to think is impossible. And that's part of the reason why I'm setting this challenge is to shoot for the stars, right? To aim big, to show my boy that anything is possible. And I'm a good example of it because I'm just an average guy. I'm an average dad, and I want to set an example that I can achieve anything I set my mind to. And this is bigger than just making a business or, making something. I want to do what people will think is impossible. Okay, so I'm starting to write a list, and I would love to hear your opinion and hopefully build my list. Hey, Ria, or Callahan, what's up? So I'm building a list of people that almost seem impossible to get in contact with, people that you aspire, you look up to them, they're kind of like your heroes, they might be famous, but it seems like it would be impossible to meet them and talk to them. Will I like? I don't know, will you? But hi, Julie Sargent. How's it going? Who would you meet if you could talk to anyone in the world? Anyone in the world that you aspire to, that you look up to, is a hero you would just like to connect with, you'd like to pick their brain. Who would you meet? Because this is the challenge I'm setting for myself. And I just went to 7-Eleven and I'll explain why. You're like, why is he going to 7-Eleven if he wants to meet these people? But I'll explain. And it was a sign. It was a sign to go for this because the goal is to show my boy that I can reach out and get in contact with anybody. And this is my list so far. The first one's Alexander Volkanovski. If you don't know him, he is the UFC featherweight champion. The second one is Joe Rogan. So if you don't know him, Joe Rogan podcast. He's also a commentator on UFC. He did like Fear Factor. The third one is the CEO of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Like, you're like, Jake, you're not going to meet these people. It just means I can prove he's wrong. Okay? And it's just a normal guy doing something that seems impossible. The fifth is Stephen King. Stephen King. So I love his books. He's getting a bit older. I don't know if he's going to come to Australia. That seems a lot harder to obtain. But set the goals. And then Alex Hormozi. I'd love to pick his brain in terms of business and personal brand and all that type of stuff. But who would you meet? Do I believe in God? I have faith. I don't know if I believe in God, but because it depends on who you're talking about when I talk about God. But I believe I have free will, and I believe I can do anything I set my mind to. Okay, so who would you meet if you could meet anyone? If you could sit down, pick a brain with them, who would you meet? Because they're the 6 people that I'm gonna put out there. This is the first time I'm putting it out there because a lot of people, they have ideas, but they never verbalize it. They never have anything to keep them accountable. I'd love to make a YouTube series of me just like having the phone call. I already have pathways in mind of how to reach these people. This isn't the place to pray. You can go and pray anywhere else. You can pray on your own time. But I'm working on something. Okay, so Julie, you keep your faith to yourself because I believe people can believe in anything they want, but I don't believe it's fair to be pushed on to other people. So, not the space for it. I want to know who you would meet if you could meet anyone. Sounds like Julie would like to meet God, or she does every time she prays, but I'm talking about people that are alive. Yep, okay, I appreciate you respecting that this isn't the space for it. My grandparents at this age, as the baby of the family, they died before I was old enough to learn from them. Sorry to hear both of my grandfathers, so my nonno and my granddad, both passed away before I was born. But I'm talking like in real life, who is alive now that you'd like to meet? Because I want to make this happen. This is a challenge I'm going to set for myself. I'd love to meet my granddads. That would be at the top of the list. But unfortunately, until I'm on the other side, I'm not going to meet them until then. And that's not something I want to show my boy right now. So, who would you meet? Come on, is this mic on, by the way? Just be hearing the scratching and stuff. Tap, tap. Okay, so I want the names of these people to seem almost impossible. What's up here? There, sorry. If that was making a sound, I apologize. Your grandma. Yeah, we're getting a lot of grandparents, but I appreciate the sentiment. But I'm talking about if you could meet anyone that's alive now that you could have a chat to, you could talk to them. If it's about business, if it's about life, if it's about a hobby, if it's about anything, who would it be? So I've listed mine. If you're new, I'm going to go over them again. Let me know who you think has the most probability of me having a chance to meet them. First one is Alexander Volkanovski. He's the featherweight UFC champion. I think high probability because he's in Australia, so that automatically makes it a lot easier. And I used to train with Jack Della Maddalena, who is the ex welterweight former champion. So that already has a pathway of me potentially meeting these people. Now, the second one is Joe Rogan. I think that would be hard. Julie, yeah, I have kids. This is why I'm doing this, because I want to show them that I can achieve anything and show them that they can as well. The third one is Alex Mosseri. Mosseri. He is the founder of Instagram. I'd love to meet him. I'd love to talk about Instagram and how that as a platform, as personal brands can be developed. I'd love to talk to Stephen King and Alex Hormozi. So you're probably thinking those names, like Jake, you're never going to meet any of those people. The minimum that I'd like to achieve is a face to face, like a Zoom call or a FaceTime. The ideal, the goal would be sit down, have a discussion in real life. What's your thoughts? Um, you're probably thinking, Jake, that's never going to happen. I'm going to stop watching because this guy's full of shit. Sorry for swearing, but you probably think that that's so it's so unplausible, and it's not going to happen. And I'll tell you the pathways that I see possible to make this happen. But let me know what do you think the probability is. So the two that I think actually have the biggest potential. See you later. Is Alexander Volkanovski. Like I said, I knew Jack from training, who was the ex former champion, so there's that connection. He's in Australia. I've been in the martial arts industry, so I think there is people I know that would know him. And the second is the founder of Instagram. I think I see a pathway of someone I know who's a creator that I could contact, who knows a business coach, who then knows, yo, Dan, what's up? Dan, I got this challenge that I'm going to face. And I think people think it's going to be impossible. Honestly, I think people are going to think it's going to be impossible, but I'm going to set my mind to it and try to achieve it. Now it's making a list of people that seem impossible to meet. Yeah, no, yeah. So we truthfully, do we get truthful answers? Like, you get to talk to them. So they might not give you the truth. So Nick, they might not, yeah, give you the truth, but you get to talk to them. The idea is the ultimate success of this project or challenge would be meeting the person in real life and having a conversation with them. So just meeting them, talking to them. The second one is having like a 30-minute Zoom call. So that's the objective that I want to achieve. Nick, first time landing my feed, my page is mainly about my journey to financial freedom. But as a person who's on that journey, I'm creating like a personal brand, my YouTube, and I'm just trying to continuously challenge myself. So I have a list of people that I want to meet that seem impossible, that people are going to tell me like that's never going to happen. But I want to show my boy that if you set your mind to anything, you can achieve it. Yeah, so I had the list. I'll say it again quickly for new viewers. Alexander Volkanovski, featherweight UFC champion. Joe Rogan. I think everyone kind of knows Joe Rogan. We got Alex Mosseri, who's the CEO of Instagram. We got Stephen King. I think we all know the horror writer Stephen King. We got um, Alex Hormozi as well, who's like business entrepreneur. And I think all of them can give me something each. And I had this idea, and I was like, man, this is going to be so hard. I know there's two pathways where I can potentially meet two of those people, and then there's other people that I have no idea how I'd meet them. Like Stephen King, like I've read so many of his books, but I have no idea what the pathway from who I would just contact initially that could send me in the right direction. Like I have no idea. But Alexander Volkanovski, featherweight champion of the world. I used to train with Jack Della Maddalena, who is the ex-former featherweight champion. They've trained together. Like, I know there's a connection pathway that I can contact people who can like give me the contacts to pass it on to try to make this happen. Yo, what's up? Numerous clauses. So the whole objective, I'm not selling anything. Um, I'm selling you an idea of this challenge I'm setting for myself. So I'm not selling anything. But the other pathway I see happening is trying to meet the CEO of Instagram, because I know this creator that I'm on like a dad's content creator community group with, and he is friends with an Instagram coach, and the Instagram coach met the CEO of Instagram a few times. So that's 3 people. If I can contact the creator, which I've already talked to before, like we've already exchanged messages, and then I need to convince him to send me to the Instagram coach, and then I need to convince the Instagram coach to send me to the CEO of Instagram. Because the idea is, I heard this before, I'm not sure how true it is. Hey, Pramod, I'm not sure if I got that right. The idea is, I'm going to Google it because I don't want to say stuff that's not true. I'm good. How many people do you need to talk to meet anyone in the world? So the idea is 7 people. It takes 7 connections to essentially meet any person in the world. So here's what the AI overview is on Google. To reach anyone in the world, you are separated by an average of about 5 to 6 steps, known as 6 degrees of separation. Mathematically, if you talk to roughly 50 to 100 people, and each of them talks to that many new people, exponential growth lets you reach billions of connections within 6 steps. 6 steps. No, I'm not selling anything. Stop asking me if I'm selling stuff. I'm looking to connect with people. So that, did you hear that? Mathematically, if you roughly talk to 50, 100 people in your life, just generally, and have a decent connection to, and you can they talk to 50 to 100 people, exponential growth allows you to reach billions of people within 6 different people. So that pathway to meet these people that seem impossible to meet, when you break it down into this, doesn't seem that hard anymore. So Alexander Volkanovski, like I keep saying heavyweight, but the featherweight champion of the world, you're like, bro, you're not going to meet that guy. I know one person directly that knows him. I actually have a network because I was in the martial arts scene for quite a bit when I was a coach, and a lot of those people know him, but I just am quite separated from that connection directly to him. But I could get that connection quite easily, but it's trying to convince him and having enough trust, that would be the hard part. And then the Instagram CEO, like I know 3 people. There's like 3 steps to reach him. So I know that it's possible. I just think the application is extremely difficult because you have to put yourself out there. You have to be willing to receive rejection. But the thing is, I'm a normal guy. I'm a normal guy. I'm a young dad. I live in Australia, and I want to show my boy that I can reach these people that seem impossible to meet. So, who would you meet? Because I have my list, and I don't know how I'd ever meet Stephen King. Like, I don't know the steps to get there. But I think if I was to start documenting like the calls and making like reels and YouTube videos of it and then sharing it, the people would start helping me with this process. So who would you meet? Um, who else would be hard? I think Alex Hormozy would be a bit difficult, but because I'm on the school platform, he obviously like sponsors a school platform. I think I can work my way through that. But it's a challenging question. Like, how can you reach these people? Obviously, you want to like build trust, because just going them and like, I want to talk to you, I want to meet you, like that's a bit stalkerish, especially if they have like a bit of fame and popularity behind them. They probably get that a lot. So anyway, the reason why I had the idea of actually starting, so I've had this idea for quite a while, and I think it would make really good content. But Alexander Volkanovski. So I always think Alexander Volkanovski is probably the easiest person to reach, the easiest like person on my list who's famous that I would love to have a conversation with. He released a post on Instagram saying that he released a protein bar. And if you buy the protein bar, you make a video and you make it real, whatever's the most liked or gets the most comments, and we choose, wins a trip over to Sydney to hang out, meet one-on-one, and do our YouTube, like a Cooking with Volk, be on an episode with me. So it's like, bro, he's giving the opportunity. Like, the opportunity is there, I just need to take it. And how often do you have these ideas in your head and you want to do it, and then the opportunity presents itself? Do you take it or do you let it slip? Not meaning to paraphrase Eminem just then. But yeah, who would you meet? Like, let me build my list. Give me people that you would love for me to try to reach out to and contact to, and you honestly think it's impossible. If you think it's impossible for me to go on this challenge, who is someone? Another one's Mr. Beast. That was the other one, which seems impossible. Like, what's the chances some random guy that's a young dad in Australia can meet Mr. Beast and talk to him? Seems hard. Like, it seems impossible. So I'd love to hear your opinion. Who would you meet? Who would you meet? Like, honestly, I'm not getting any comments of people asking me if I'm selling shit. I'm not selling anything. I'm asking you guys, if you had the opportunity to talk to anyone in the world that's alive, that you could have a conversation with, who would you actually meet? Who would you talk to? They could be famous, they could be sports professionals, they could be your heroes, they could be actors, like someone who seems impossible to connect with. Who would you talk to? Like, I've given my list. It seems impossible, but I feel like I want to refine my list a little bit. I want to make it like almost steps to be able to achieve. Start off with like easier ones and then get harder and reach people that almost seem impossible to reach out to. So if you had the chance to meet anyone in the world that's alive that you could have a conversation with, either like a FaceTime or meet in person, have a coffee and have a chat with them, who would it be? Like, honestly, just drop a comment, let me know. If you had the chance to talk to anyone in the world, have a conversation, who would it be? Because that's the challenge I want to face. That's the challenge I want to set. I want to get a list of what would seem like impossible people to have the opportunity to talk to. I want to do whatever I can to meet them, have a conversation with them, talk with them. And I think a lot of people don't believe it's possible. And I think that's what makes it more exciting for me to give it a go. Go, I'm waiting for answers. I'm going to go on strike until I get some answers of who you should meet, because I want to build my list. I know there's more people I would like to meet. I'd like to have a conversation with and chat with, but I just can't think at the moment. Maybe I should up on my YouTube, because I feel like there is people on YouTube that I follow and subscribe to that I would love to have the opportunity to connect with. You probably don't know him. He has like 700,000 followers on YouTube, but Gabe Bolt, I watch a lot of his stuff. That'd be pretty cool to connect with him. Would you talk to Trump? If you had the opportunity to have a 30-minute Zoom call with Trump, would you take it? Honestly, I don't think I would. YouTube, no one's popping up that I can think of that I would love to meet. But I want to think of some like big names that people like, there's no way this guy's going to make that happen. I don't know, someone's watching. Drop a comment. Who would you meet? I know there's people here, it tells me. So I want to hear from you guys. I want to start to have a conversation. I want you to tell me who you would meet if you could meet anyone in the world. Have a conversation with them. Pick their brains. Have a 30-minute call or meet them in person for the day. Who would it be? I've got my list. I should actually write it down because I'm putting it out there. I'm gonna get my notebook's all the way over there. But once you have a goal, you got to put it out there. You got to write it down. You got to make it tangible. But this is just the first step I made. I had this idea for the challenge, and it's been an idea. It's been in my head, and I was like, man, I'm just gonna hop on a live call, a live YouTube, and just start telling it to some people. I'm just gonna hop on here and tell you the challenge that I think a lot of you aren't gonna believe that it's possible. And I think when I have this conversation with you guys, you're not gonna think it's possible until I actually start making content about it. But I'm gonna start basically as soon as possible. I might even after this live get on a call with someone and try to record it. I wonder like the best way to, if I'm gonna call someone, does anyone know this? If I'm gonna call someone on my phone, but I want to record like the audio or even the visual as well, how can I make that call happen? I wonder if I could call my tablet and then film on here, because I want to be able to capture the process of calling someone and then calling the next person and trying to meet this person that seems almost impossible to meet. Like I want to document the process of going from being in my bedroom to trying to contact, either meet or be on a Zoom call with the CEO of Instagram. Or like Joe Rogan, man. Joe Rogan, Alexander Volkanovski, like featherweight champion. Mr. Beast is on the list, but I think he would be like the end goal. I think I'd have to produce some content, show people what I'm doing, be ambitious, put it out there. Stephen King, like big one on my list. But who would you guys meet? If you could meet anyone, who would it be? Because if I'm not going to get much response soon, I'm going to hop off this chat and try to figure out how to make this call work, like how I'm going to be able to film and call someone at the same time. I'll see if I can pop up WhatsApp on my tablet. But yeah, I think a lot of people aren't answering in the chat because you don't believe it's possible. If it's like a YouTube person you aspire to, all right, if no one's going to let me know, I'm going to bounce. I want to hear from you guys. If you can meet anyone in the world to sit down, have a coffee with, chat to them, pick their brain, talk to them, or even just have a FaceTime call with, who would it be? Anyone. If you can pick multiple people, put it down there. Pick multiple people, but that's what the challenge is about. I'm about to send my first message. I'm about to do it live. I'm sending my message out to a creator. I want to protect their like identity a little bit until I get permission from them. But I'm gonna film the process of trying to reach these people that almost seem impossible to contact. The first person I'm going to go forward sounds like I'm hunting them down, but the first person I'm going to try to contact is Alexander Volkanovski and the CEO of Instagram, which I know you guys don't think is going to happen. All right, you're a lot of unengaged bunch, so I'm gonna bounce, and I'm gonna work on making this happen. So I appreciate all that commented. A lot of people asking if I was selling. Yeah, quickly before I bounce, I see it as a viewer. If you could talk to anyone in the world that's alive, if you could pick their brain on a 30-minute FaceTime or a meeting them in person, who would it be? Yeah, use a boring bunch. All right, I'm bouncing. I'm going to send this first message, unless you want to see it happen. Let's go. So maybe I should